So, and then we start thinking like the world. So that's not so bad. You know, it'll be all right.
Hmm.
So you got to keep your mind clear.
How do you do that, ma'am? How do you keep your mind clear? You should have a path, right? Saying it here is more easy, but following it, you need to have a path. So how do you keep your mind clear when the world is so loud?
No, like I said, I have to call on Jesus. If
Mm-hmm.
I'm tempted to do something that I shouldn't be doing, then I have to call on Jesus. And remember that faith will take us places if we're serious about it. If you don't care, it doesn't matter.
Okay. I still have a question, but will you be able to answer it? Like, not get mad at me. Okay. So when you said faith takes you to places and faith kind of like makes you do things. Now, your faith is always like a straight line or it's like a heartbeat, goes up and down.
It goes up and down.
So when it goes up and down, how would you do it? How would you be consistent about whatever you're saying? Because there are days you would be really sure God is not even responding.
Yeah, well, those are the days you need to stay inside your house.
Ma'am, that's the right thing, but also, empty mind is a devil's workshop. No matter you're inside your house or inside your bathroom, it doesn't matter.
Well, if you're going to live the life, then you have to make up your mind to live the life.
Mm-hmm.
And you may not feel like something is not going to hurt you
Mm-hmm.
if I just go and do this a little while.
Mm-hmm.
But all of those things build up. So we just have to be careful with ourselves and with what our mind dwells on.
Mm. I do accept it.
And I answered your question.
I'll say that you answered my question. Though I didn't live as long as you did, maybe. But
I just can't believe you just said that.
I'm just talking about your experience. Take the positive and leave the negative one. I'm telling you, you're wiser than me.
Oh, mercy.
What I understood is intention about how you want to live. If you don't have that intention of the way you want to live, everything collapses. If you're just on a surface way, just living would collapse your whole foundation of who you are.
Well, I don't think I'm going to go off the rails tomorrow.
Okay.
And you can see I have gray hair, and I'm past 70 years old.
I'm not commenting on any of that.
Yes, I know, you better not. And I'm still here in Sabbath school.
Yes, ma'am.
So there has to be something positive
Mm-hmm.
that I'm doing in my life to make sure I'm here.
Yeah, that's true. Like everything we do needs to be intentional. If you're here by 9 o'clock, it's intention. If not, none of us would be sitting here. It's everything we do is intention, but that intention should not be only for this day. It should be for every day. There are days I don't want to get out of my bed. I feel like it's so depressing, but God gave me another day to breathe. That means I have another battle to fight. So I can do it by myself, or I can just ask Him to help me to fight. I think that's what these people, even they saw God on first hand, doing things I can't even imagine happening. They still kind of like couldn't keep it up. Or maybe they forgot. I just don't know. Any thoughts, ma'am?
So, when you talk about having an intention of, so it brought to mind making a intentional habit of something.
Mm-hmm.
So I will say I got baptized 8 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
and this past Sabbath school, prior to this was the first complete 13 weeks that I studied every day,
Mhm.
and I came to Sabbath school.
Mm.
Before that, I was like, nope, it's too early. God told me to rest on the day I was sleeping.
You got that right.
Right?
Mhm.
And I actually went to the Michigan camp meeting last year, and or this year, and I went to one of the Sabbath school classes, and I remember him asking, so I'm assuming everybody came here so they can run Sabbath school and things like that, and I was like, well, that's not why I came. I intentionally decided that that's what I was going to do, whether I had to wake up earlier, whether even when I looked up, so I'm not from here, I looked up online on your website what time Sabbath school started. I could have, I'm going to, I'm here visiting my daughter. I'm just going to sleep in. I'm going to take a day. It's not my church anyway. I don't have to go. But I intentionally decided to wake up, to come here, even though I didn't know anybody, because I didn't come. I came for Jesus. I came for God to spend time with him.
Now you know all of it.
Except this gentleman. Hi.
We introduced ourselves.
I'm Leroy.
Hi, Leroy. I'm Jenny.
Hi, Jenny.
There we go. So as you said, whatever your testimony is, pretty much it's like, do you feel it was like a second chance given to you, ma'am? Or is, I'm just pointing out at you because you just told. But do you feel like that's like a second chance? Because
It's probably 100.
got
I
you.
mean, there isn't, thankfully God doesn't stop at second chances.
I know.
Because I would be done.
Yeah, that's true too.
Yes, because we are blessed with second chances every day.
Yeah,
you
I
know,
just call it
from the
second
time we get up
chance.
in the morning until we lay our heads down on our pillows at night. And we give thanks and praise and glory and honor that he has gotten us through the day. And there were so many different chances that we had to make and make choices through that day.
I know.
We just leave it up to God's hands, and we start our day out with
Mhm.
prayer and devotions. So
That's true. It's more like there is one point in my life. I'm like I was born and grew. From point I was born, all I know is only to go to church on Saturday because my parents work in Seventh-day Adventist school. So I only know this. But how much I am going because I want to go, or how much I am going because my parents want me to go. Because we all on a Saturday get up, get rest, and shower and zoom in to the church. So how much of me I'm dragging myself with the only thing that, oh, now I don't want my parents to start talking. Let's just do whatever they want. So that's how I used to go, but intention was never there. And then when I moved cities, now my whole thing was different because now I'm working, and whole week I was working on Sabbath. I used to have this weird feeling that I used to only go to church because I don't want to tell my dad I didn't go. If I tell him I didn't go, I need to figure out a way to defend or find a reason why I'm not going. So sometimes I use my own cycle as a reason that I didn't go. But sometimes it's like, I need to figure out a reason. I need to figure out. I'm sleeping, I'm figuring out, but still, I didn't want it to go. Or even if I go, I'm like, I only came so that I can tell him I went. The days I went to church, I used to call him and I'd tell Dad, I went to church, blah, 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 blah. But the days I didn't go, I don't call him till Monday because there is Sunday in between and I can talk about Sunday, not a Saturday. But that changed. But also God took me 360 degrees in my life that I don't know, somehow I started to finally rely on him, not even knowing myself that I'm relying on him. And today it was just that I didn't know what else to do on a Saturday. It feels so empty if I'm back home. And there are days I don't want to come, but then I say myself, if I get paid, would I be running today? Probably yes. So then why am I stopping myself to go to church? And I come in. Go ahead, ma'am.
Well, when we're kids,
Mm-hmm.
we don't have a choice.
That's true.
Our mama, in my household, my dad wasn't an Adventist, but my mama went to church, so I went to church.
Mm-hmm.
And she took me to church even before I was born, you know.
Mm-hmm.
In the womb, I went to church. And then my dad did join the church, and he and I were baptized on the same day.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, he had some habits that he just couldn't get over, so he stopped coming to church. But he came to church for a long time. But, you know, is it a habit? Is it just ingrained in us?
Mm-hmm.
Somebody asked me one day, "Are you going to church on Sabbath?" I said, "Where else would I be?" Because I have developed a community
Mm-hmm.
here. I want to be a part of the community, but I want to be a part of God's community. And I need to go to church and celebrate that.
Mm-hmm. That's true. That's how, sometimes value and unexpected places happen. That can be one of the church, can be a place where things happen. Like when I walked in, I still remember, I was just thinking this is one of the churches which got wiped out during COVID because it's locked. I emailed in May, no one responded. I called on the previous day when I came just to check if this still exists or not. No one picked. And my mom said, would it hurt if you just go? Would it hurt you if you just go? I was not really into that idea because, when you are in a new place, fear kind of like creeps you up because you're not comfortable with the surroundings. And I said, I just don't know anyone there. All my plan was like, I email, I find someone, some name, and I can kind of like, relate or talk. And then I can come and I can only look for that one person. But none of that happened. So I was always in this limbo of thinking, what ifs? And what if they are not so nice? Or what if they didn't care? I'm like, usually we Indians come, we do our business and leave. We don't chit-chat until unless you knew each other really good. So I was presuming that way, but then I walked in and I saw the church was not open. I called and I said, listen, no one is here. I'm leaving. My mom said, you're at 8:30. Maybe churches don't get opened at 8:30. We'll wait till 9. And I and the irate driver, we both were talking because she was kind of like saying, if no one comes, I'll pick you up and leave you back. So we were talking, and at 9:05 or something, Denise and Mike showed up. Maybe Claire's would have showed up, but they were parking, I guess, because I didn't observe it. But I saw Denise and Mike, and I'm like, I see people. And that's when the church got open, and I walked in, and rest became history. After 3 years, here I am still standing. Yeah, and here I am still coming. I don't remember the last time I skipped church. Because it kind of like became a part which I wanted to do it because I learned coming to church would give you more blessings. I would not say the life is so easy. You would have troubles. But it would become easier to walk in those troubles with your own strength. I think that's how God kind of like helps us. And also, here, I think that's how the spies were getting saved by a lie from Rahab. That is what she was doing. She thought God being on her side would protect her than she being against the God. and she helped the spies by lying. Now comes my question. Is a lie right or wrong? Ma'am, I like it. Lie is a lie. That's true, ma'am. But here is a context I would give you, and you tell me which one is right and which one is wrong. Abraham lied, saying Sarah is his wife. And in a bigger context, he's trying to save his own life. Rahab lied about the spies. In a bigger context, she's saving the spies. Jacob lied in front of his father. On a bigger context, it's for the blessings. And then Elijah or Elisha, I always get confused with these two names. His assistant kind of like lied with Naaman for the gifts. Now, this all context, ma'am, lie is common. But how do you see them? Which one is right, which one is wrong?
Yes. I think that Rahab was led by God to do what she did. And I'm not going to discount her for doing that.
Okay.
We don't know what is happening between the person and God at the time, what they feel like they're led to do.
Okay.
So I can't make a judgment one way or the other, whether that's right or that's wrong. I just have to make the assumption that it was a God thing.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
So there is in Monday, and I did a little bit more studying in Ellen G. White. It's the second paragraph on Monday, about halfway through. It says, in the middle of a decadent, corrupt culture and Rahab's own sinful lifestyle, God in his grace saw a spark of faith through which he could save her. God used what was good in Rahab, which was manifest faith in him and in her choice to belong to his people. So there is no good in us except the gift of faith that Jesus puts in us. So there was a small spark, and because she lived in a corrupt lifestyle, she had some good of that faith that she got from God, but there wasn't anything else good that she understood. So she started there, and then from there is when Jesus could give more good to her through her faith, where her faith would grow.
Okay. So do you think right now we talking about Rahab, she did right or wrong? Are we even worth of talking about other person's intention?
Well, I can remember when years ago when I lived in I had an abusive relationship, and I knew that something would set my husband off with one of my children. I would protect that child. I would protect him and not say something or tell him the way it really happened, because you are protecting that child, and that's what you do. You do protect, and that's what Rahab was doing, was protecting these men, because she knew that was God's plan was coming into effect. So that's why she, decided that she needed to do that part for God.
That's true, ma'am. So my whole question is how much we are sitting here and talking about a right or wrong or lie really is, are we capable of judging that part?
Well, I think the Lord judges that,
That's true.
and we don't have to worry about that. And I always thought, I know that I told a lie, but that's up to God to decide whether it was a good judgment or a bad judgment, and that's what He'll make those decisions for us.
Yes. If you turn your Bibles to Galatians 1:10, just read it for me what it says. Galatians 1:10.